Okay, you also wrote here, men feel defeated and so do women. We're all defeated from what we see on social media, what we see in our own families, and what we're expected to be. I mean, do you feel that you've contributed to that by like some of your own social media posts or anything?
I mean, I feel like you might pull up something, but when I make jokes online about like hating men, it's me punching up, and I have like an echo chamber on.
Wait, you said it's you punching up?
Yeah. I think when I make jokes about men, it's not serious, and it's with a bunch. On the algorithm on TikTok, it shows it to other women. So. Wait,
so you're telling me that dating is difficult in the modern world because of the divisions between the sexes, but you're actively contributing to it by hating men online?
I don't hate men. I make jokes.
You do. Oh, it's jokes. What's the joke? What's an example of a joke?
Like, I mean, I write down stupid jokes on TikTok. Like, I can't think of a joke right off my head.
Name one that's gone viral, if any have.
Like the femcel. I'm like, I had like a bad experience with a guy, and I was like, I'm gonna become a femcel.
It's not. I don't really think it's not to.
I find your language interesting that you're saying that you're punching up towards men because in your own mind you're putting men above you. You're talking. You guys have been talking the whole podcast.
I just think when I'm making those statements.
Stop. Hold on. Let me finish my point. You guys have been talking this whole podcast about how men oppress women, but you are choosing to place men above you in your own mind. Whereas I actually look at women as of equal value and worth in God's eyes. I don't look down on women. I recognize that there is a hierarchy. You know, as you mentioned, I'm a Christian, and there is a hierarchy in God's eyes as outlined by the Word. But I don't look down on women and see women as less than. You know, but you're kind of mentally placed. Like throughout this whole podcast, you guys have been talking about all of this stuff about like oppression and all these narratives, and I would argue that those ideas that you're perpetuating throughout society are actually alienating men that might want to date you guys.
I feel like the words that I'm going to say are being framed a certain way. I feel a lot of privilege. So like I can't speak for the women who don't have the privilege that I have. So I'm not saying that I am oppressed, but as a woman, yes, women to me in society have been oppressed, but not necessarily me as an adult. Like I don't want to go into the history.
I think we should stop with the oppression stuff.
That's what I'm. Yeah. Well, you asked. So
I know. I got you.
On the punching up thing, so you're saying, well, me making sexist statements about men is justified, but the reverse is. It would be when men make fun of women or say sexist statements about women. That's punching down.
I'll just say like jokes like if you're like. I made a joke where I'm like, if you're making online content that's misogynistic, chauvinistic, whatever, and you're talking about all the strength of men, whatever, building society, and you're not doing it yourself, it's just I'm like I just make fun of that.
But I'm
not just you, like people in general, like content
I'm trying
creators.
to dig into the words that you used. Punching up. What do you mean when you say punching up?
Because if a man makes statements about women that's
sexist.
That is sexist and joking.
But if a woman makes statements about men, that's not sexist?
Yes, it's still sexist, but there's not like a huge like there's not going to be more violence towards men because I made a stupid joke. I'm not going to like endorse hate towards men. I think that podcasts like these don't even encourage the real issues of mental health because I don't believe. I'm not sure if you guys believe in mental illness.
This isn't a mental health podcast.
It's under the guise of a dating podcast, but it's very political. You guys are both Christians. You guys are the hosts.
You just talked about how politics is inherently a part of dating. Like, of course, it's going to be a political show.
Can you rephrase? Like,
we actually don't talk about.
When did I mention that politics was a part of dating?
Because you're saying one of the problems in the dating world is that like there's a divide between what a lot of men believe and what a lot of women believe, and you referenced us and you called us Christians, which by the way is news to me. Brian, are you a Christian?
I feel like
I'm a man of God.
Oh yes, I've started referencing a lot of Bible verses throughout the show.
I said you were.
Hold on. I read a little bit.
About to get you. Yeah.
I read a little bit here and there. There's some fucking based verses and stuff.
But
And,
you know, to answer your question, you were talking about how we're Christians and like we subscribe to traditional beliefs, and a lot of that overlaps with politics as well. And you know, you're saying like you guys don't talk about mental health enough. You talk about politics. It's like, yeah, it's a dating podcast. Politics
yeah, that's
is
not
part
my
of dating.
purpose really. But
and
here,
traditional
I want to go around
ways
the I
of
want to go around the
dating.
table on this. So related to what you said about punching up, can you be sexist against men? Can you
Into
not
the
hide?
mic, into the
don't
mic,
hide
please.
behind the mic, please.
Well, I had a question before, but now I forgot it already. Can you tell me your question again?
Can you be sexist against men?
Yeah, and one if depends how you look at the definition of sexist.
Okay.
What is the definition of sexism?
Look it up. You
Okay,
have a
fine. Here,
computer
I'll look it up.
in front of you.
I'll look it up. Sure. I'll look it up.
Because I don't have
Um,
a dictionary like word
Prejudice,
for word.
stereotyping, or discrimination on the basis of sex.
No.
You can't be prejudiced, discriminate, or
Then put
stereotype
it-
on the basis of sex against men? Or you don't?
I don't.
Okay, all right. What about
When a
you?
man acts a certain way.
What about
Wait.
you?
Wait, did she end? What, so you can't be sexist against men?
No, you can be sexist.
Oh, you can
against
be. Okay, I
Okay.
see.
I guess, yeah.
With that definition, yeah, I think you can be sexist.
But
against
are you
them.
saying there's a different? I see what you're saying. You're saying that your definition of sexism, there's a component of
Oppression.
power, right? What's the one
Yes,
with
yes.
racism?
Power
right?
dynamic.
Yes, exactly.
I'm
what
trying.
You're saying
I
is
want to
what-
get it right, but fuck, what is it?
Talking about systemic racism?
Well, no. Oftentimes,
Institutional?
no. They'll say, for example, do you think you can be racist towards someone who's white?
It's exactly like that comparison. It's like I can have prejudices and biases against men, just like black people can have prejudices and biases against white people. But it's very different because those prejudices and biases do not have a ingrained
Institutional
role into
Yeah.
our society.
So you're talking about
yes.
institutional racism versus institutional sexism. So if
Comparing
we're,
them,
so if we're going to use this as a contrast and use institutional sexism as like a basis here,
Mm-hmm.
what institutions are sexist?
The feelings is a good one.
The what?
The mention of men being
No,
able
no,
to communicate their feelings.
institutions.
Institutions as in like government systems?
No,
is
no,
what
yeah,
you mean?
whatever you want to define as an institution, but definitely your feelings are not an institution.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I know that it's not like
Oh,
it's a
is it
concept-
so? Okay,
concept.
so your definition of sexism would be prejudice plus power. Same with
Yes.
racism.
Yes.
It's not that there has to be someone who has power in the dynamic. So prejudice plus power.
Right.
Yes.
So if there's not
Or
power
maybe-
on the other end,
It's not racism.
then it's not really racist because there's no power behind it. So this would
So,
be the distinction. Yeah.
using your guys' definition of sexism, can you be sexist against men?
Wait, you just include both of us.
I'm going to go around the table. Go ahead.
Maybe you
Okay.
just redefine it real
yes,
quick.
I'm re-clarifying the question.
Yeah, like, do you
Okay.
believe that it's systemic? Do you believe that in kind of the same thing
Sexism
that
is systemic?
that there's systems which are in
No, no, no.
place in order to enforce?
Using your definition of sexism, do you think it's possible to be sexist against men? Can you, as a woman, be sexist against men? Oh my God.
Question again? Sexism and if it can
Your
be
definition of
and-
your definition of sexism, do you think that you can be sexist towards a man? Can people be sexist towards men? Can women be sexist towards men?
Yeah.
Okay, using your definition of sexism, prejudice plus power.
What? I didn't say that was my definition.
Okay,
You just
go
lumped me
ahead.
in with her.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. No.
So you cannot be sexist towards men.
Not with my definition of sexism, no.
I see. Okay.
Yes, I believe you can, but it doesn't make the same difference. It's not.
It's not the same.
It's not societally the same.
It's not the same. So
Towards-
it's more justified to be sexist towards men, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying it's justified. I'm saying
more-
that it's
what
not
then?
going to make a. It's not going to make an actual impact. Like
Of course, it makes an impact.
so there. I can't frame it in a short sentence because there's men's issues that need to be addressed. But yes, it's not going to impact men as much as sexism towards women is going to impact women. It's just not.
I entirely disavow
Erroneous.
that. But
Erroneous.
if you look at most of life's negative consequences,
Because
they typically fall upon men. So I think men.
I believe there's a lot of
men.
there's a men's issues, and I fully believe that should be addressed. But
Okay, sure.
I'm not seeing it ever be addressed, and I can't just like answer for both sides how I want to in a short little black and white like statement. So I'm not gonna